Cory Booker being black does not make him above criticism. And I don't care how much someone tries to gaslight me about that. It doesn't make him above critique. And yes, that's exactly what some people were trying to say to me yesterday. That because of the fact that I criticized Cory Booker, that was anti-black, that you can't criticize him. And that if I say, I don't agree with you, I don't agree with you, he's not above criticism, and then you turn around and say, oh no, that's anti-black, and you need to go sit in your room and reflect on that. Because this one person literally said that. They're like, oh, well, you're not listening to black people. No. Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that I'm not listening. And what does that even mean? Who? Black people are not a monolith. They don't all agree that Cory Booker is based. But then saying that and then claiming that me not agreeing with you about Cory Booker is anti-black and I need to go think about what I've done. I'm allowed to disagree with you. I'm allowed to criticize Cory Booker, and you trying to push me into a different position is, yes, manipulative. And I'm fresh out of patience for that kind of manipulation, because you're not going to try to convince me or gaslight me into believing that it is somehow wrong to try to hold Cory Booker accountable to his own word. Unanimous consent on Trump's nominees, and then the next day goes and votes to send more weapons to the Israeli regime. More weapons to kill Palestinians after he said this was a moral moment.
Hey good people, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Awakened Africa and I'm your host, Ben. Welcome back to another episode of our YouTube channel. And today I'd like to discuss about this certain white lady who came out to condemn and confront Corry Anthony Booker. Actually, Corry Anthony Booker is the senator for New Jersey, the first black American senator for New Jersey since he has held that position for quite some time, since 2013. So actually Booker decided to confront and call out the atrocities that are done by Trump's regime. And then this white lady came out and she said that whatever Cory Booker did was not right, and she will call him out. And so black people came out furiously and reacted to that video, and they were really going mad on TikTok about her behavior. So guys, without further ado, I would like us to jump in these clips. Let us watch these clips and then I will be back with my further analysis. But before that, kindly, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like this video, leave a comment, share, and turn on post notifications. Let us jump straight into it and I'll be back with my commentary.
Cory Booker being black does not make him above criticism.
And some might say that it being modern times doesn't stop you from looking like a medieval whore. Hello, here's your picture. Not me though, I'm no bully. In fact, this is another episode of me preparing others for bullying and what people might say. This is a part 2 for you, because you haven't learned to shut the fuck up about black people, some might say. Yes, some might say you do have the hairstyle of a whore in a whorehouse who opens her whore hole to accept men inside of you. And all the town's wives hate you because their men come and do their unimaginable kinks on top of your body. And that's why your hair looks like that, broken at the ends from all that rolling around the hay you've been doing. Some would say that if they were bullies, but not me. I'm just preparing you. Some might say, why the fuck would we want to listen to the opinion of someone that looks like a walking light bulb, whose other function is for people to leave donations of hair on top of, from different donors, I imagine, some with short and some with long. And they were all on drugs. You can tell by the quality of the donated hair on top of your head. Some would say that if they were bullies, and your comment section is full of comments like these. Probably. I'd probably see that if I were to go look. But you need to stop bullying that donated hair with those scissors. It's not right. It's not okay. Some might say. And I'd say too if I was a bully, but I'm not. Maybe you should keep your plastic-filled lips off of black people, is what some might say. In fact, I would say it, but only to stop your future bullying that no doubt is coming from people that aren't me. And before you turn up your surgically altered nose at me, remember, you had the option not to talk shit about black people when we asked you to, but you chose to continue. And here I am, helping you out, preparing you for the inevitable bullying. You're welcome. I know you like it when black people do what you need them to, like slaves. 10 out of fucking 10.
Cory Booker being black does not make him above criticism. And I don't care how much someone tries to gaslight me about that. It doesn't make him above critique.
White people need to keep black people's names out of their mouths as much as possible. White people need to keep black people's names out of their mouths as much as possible. White people have not done enough work collectively nor individually in unpacking their racism. And as a result, white people can never truly be sure if whether or not their critique is rooted in a valid critique or rooted in their racism. We are all raised in a racist society. That shit is interwoven into every piece of fabric of this society. Black people, we have to unlearn our own internalized racism despite being the target of said racism. So white people, especially who are the beneficiaries of said racism, who have had that shit force-fed, spoon-fed to them since they were born, especially have some unpacking to do. And it's quite bold when white people act like they have liberated themselves, they've done the work, they read some bell hooks books, okay? They read about white privilege, and so now they have completely eliminated any bias that they have rooted in racism, and so they can clearly see the world, especially clearly see black people. When simultaneously, Negroes like myself have to unpack our own internalized racism, but somehow y'all got the magic key. If black people are telling you to chill and to back the fuck up off of us and to back the fuck up off of our people, then you need to listen. You need to not be defensive and think that, oh, well, because I read a few books and I've done some unpacking, that I'm gonna tell the collective of black people who have stood up to call me in, I'm gonna tell them that they're fucking wrong, that me as a white person, I know better. Y'all crazy as fuck. White people have not collectively done the work to earn the right to critique black people. Do you hear me? Your critique may be valid. Your critique may be rooted in racism. And white people have not collectively or individually done enough work to be able to determine the difference. Hence why you're supposed to listen when black people call you the fuck out. And if I touch your hand to tell you something, then you better motherfucking listen. You better have some humility and listen. Because even your lack of humility and your defensiveness in and of itself, assuming that black people don't have enough sense to be able to call out and to see problematic behavior rooted in racism, that in and of itself is indicative of the work you still need to do to unpack your internalized inherent racism. When black people tell you to shut the fuck up about black people, shut the fuck up. That's not to say that you can't have critiques of black people, but they should be minimal at best. If your content on here is critiquing people, black people should take up about 3% of that. If that. And if you make a critique about black people and multiple black people come out to tell you that, hey, baby, you might want to take a step back. You might want to fall back a little bit. You need to fucking fall back. White people, you do not know better than black people do. Full stop. Full stop. I was going to say about racism, but to be quite honest, full stop everything. You do not know better than us, especially black women. We are the only motherfuckers on this planet with sense. We are the only motherfuckers on this planet with clear vision. When we tell you something, motherfucking listen and act accordingly.
In regards to this Cory Booker being performative conversation, I typically don't engage in leftist versus liberal content on here because it really feels like a scheme set up by Todd, because out of all the groups that should be fighting each other, especially in a moment like this, it shouldn't be those two. But somehow on this app, it always becomes that, and that's very indicative of the time that we're in. But nonetheless, there is something in particular about leftists that really do get on my nerves, and that's when liberals will say to leftists, how come y'all don't come at Republicans as hard as you come at Democrats? And leftists will argue until they're blue in the face that they equally come at both parties, when we all know that is not the case. And often the response from leftists is, yes, we do. Y'all just don't want to hold Democrats accountable. And it's like, actually, I'm all for that. Okay. I'm actually in the camp that had the Democratic Party did what they were supposed to do with that man 4 years ago when he had a whole insurrection. We wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. Like, I'm all for holding them accountable. But somehow the Republicans have been in power for the last 2 months. And all I see leftists do is complain about Democrats not doing anything. Where are they? And here's the thing. Hey, I'm in that camp. I've been complaining about them too. So then Cory Booker actually decides to do something, and now it's performative. Is politics not a performance? Is this not all performance art? Is that not what the purpose of all of this is? If we're being honest, Democrats don't have any actual legal power right now. The best they can do is perform to try to get people to want to vote for them. That's literally it. That's the extent of their power. It's like you ask them to do something, they're finally doing something, and then it's not good enough. And this is my thing. When this conversation is had, it's always a disingenuous conversation because they cannot be honest about the fact that the tactic that they are using is they go harder at Democrats because they feel like it is easier to pull them to their side than the Republicans. Why would they go at somebody who is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum as opposed to somebody who is kind of on their same side and they can pull more in that direction? It makes logical sense, but you can't even have a discussion about the tactic and whether or not it's effective because they won't admit that that's a tactic in the first place. And if we're being honest, I think that a lot of leftists have way more contempt for Democrats than they do Republicans because they feel like Democrats are like liars about their moral ethic. Whereas low-key, they have a lot of respect for Republicans because they feel like Republicans actually stand on business about their terrible beliefs. Which is why they say that like the leftist to right-wing pipeline is a circle, because like it's like when you get so far over, you kind of start to see the other side's point. But that's a conversation for another day. I say all that to say is that I want leftists to be honest about their tactics and their wants and their needs to liberals so that maybe there can actually be a middle ground to be had instead of being disingenuous about the tactic in the first place.
Cory Booker being black does not make him.
Now, Chopped, you know good and goddamn well no one said that to you. And if they did, post a comment. Post it. The reason you made that video is because you know the app will jump on anything that is against black people, just like your parents and your grandparents. The same way you're criticizing Cory Booker, I promise you that your grandparents were criticizing Martin Luther King. Just like your parents were criticizing Obama. They're politicians. Nothing about them. Who the fuck said that he was a good person because he was a politician? I swear to God, people were talking about the fact that he was trying to block a bill and trying to just waste time to impede the Republicans because in Congress, time is everything. That is the whole fucking point. No one said that he got up there and parted the seas and now everyone is equal. And you guys insult our intelligence by saying this type of shit because I promise you, no one thinks he was a savior, just like no one thought Kamala Harris was a savior. We just know that in this time, if she was elected, the world would not have been globally protesting her. We wouldn't be entering a recession. People wouldn't be going to Guantanamo Bay because they're immigrants here illegally. Like, you guys are so busy focused on this fucking thing because it's in your DNA to criticize progress and anything that has to do with equality. And I wish you would figure it the fuck out and stop making it black people's problem. And newsflash, whenever you look around and you see that your opposition is black people, historically, you are on the side of the oppressors, the raging Republicans, and you are doing nothing but aiding in their fight to keep the world the same fucking place. And I think you guys know that, which is why you do that. You made Palestine your end all be all, and now y'all don't even talk about Palestine when they're being invaded and troops are on the ground pushing them out now. They're pushing them to Egypt. And y'all not even talking about them. No one's talking about the fact that they're bombing Yemen. Y'all are talking about Cory Booker and Kamala Harris because they're black. Doesn't mean you can't criticize them. How about you criticize those scissors? And how about you do something productive?
Hey, how you guys doing? This is LaRon. Hope you're having a beautiful day. So I'm pretty sure everyone's seen or heard about Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey's 25-hour speech on the Senate floor. Me personally, I think that's a hell of a feat. I mean, Buddy's standing there for 25 hours just yapping. Like, I mean, it's kind of cool. And so while we've seen the praise for Cory Booker's, I guess, defiance against the Trump administration, we've also seen the criticisms. And while, listen, Cory Booker, he's a politician. You know, he's taken certain stances that I do not support. And I think it's valid to criticize any elected official. The problem is that when you start to make these sort of race-based attacks against Cory Booker, that's when it's not valid. Like, for example, I've seen people who are not black say things such as, oh, well, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and well, I guess you can be pro-black and pro-genocide. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, look, if Cory Booker was not black, would you be saying those things? Probably not. Secondly, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. That's a phrase that is within the African-American community. So for another group to say that about a black man is disgusting, and it's wrong. Finally, the criticism of Cory Booker from that vantage point, I believe, is that there's a belief that black folks are supposed to fight for everyone else's issues, right? And so when we sort of deviate, then it becomes a problem. Then we are sellouts or whatever. But those type of criticisms are never volleyed at anyone else. So again, if you're going to criticize Senator Booker, and I have a lot of criticisms of him, criticize him on his policies, not on his race.
You wannabe mullet-wearing, non-binary version of Harvey Spoiled Milk who has the real Harvey Milk turning in his grave. Nobody thinks Cory Booker is God. Nobody thinks Cory Booker is the second coming. Fun fact, Cory Booker isn't even liked that much in the black community. I'm sorry that this needs to be explained to you, but holding up the Senate for 25 hours, blocking any and all bills from being voted on for 25 hours, just to take 25 hours to criticize and tear down our president and his administration and all the BS they've done, that's worth being praised. I'm sorry that needs to be explained to you, but that's worth being praised. That's worth being celebrated. No, it doesn't glaze over every bad thing that Cory Booker has done.
So good people, I think this lady, she talked all that from a point of racism. You know, allow me to say that I don't like to involve myself much into politics of the liberals and the Democrats. I don't like involving myself in such kind of conversations, but this white lady she not only came for Cory Booker, but she came for the black community at large, and that is why you saw these these black American TikTokers being furious on her. And let me say that I think I think white people are born racist, because if you guys are complaining about this stuff, someone who has a position comes to call it out, and then you won't support him because he is black. No, let me be racist towards him. Does that really make sense? It doesn't make sense. And I think that it is a problem of people having inbred racism. Nothing justifies racism, but if you have inbred racism, let's say you are this kind of a person who thinks that no black person can do anything positive. No black person can do anything positive. So like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you really normal upstairs? Because I didn't expect black people to insult her, but I went through the comments and I can say for sure she was really brutalized, bullied. She was really bullied. Because I will tell you something. You mess up with one black person, black people will come and they will lose their anger, their temper on you. They will insult you, they will bully you. She was really, really brutalized, bullied by it. But I can say it is something that she wanted. That's what she wanted. Because if she wouldn't have insulted Cory Booker, and she said that something that caught my attention is she said that no one can come forward and confront her. She doesn't care if black people are going to insult her. And let me say this. I have discovered that every day, every time, you'll see that black or white people are always at a constant move of gaslighting black people. Not only the white people, but even the government. They are always on a constant move to gaslight black people. And I don't know what is this that they fear from black people, that they say, you know what, we must hurt them, we must gaslight them, we must look down upon them, they are less of human beings, you know. And let me say this, no white person has the grounds to blame a black American leader, especially a Democrat, in matters governance in the United States of America. Why? Because you people, on November 24th, you went to the ballot, you made your choice, and now when your choices are not working for you, and when someone is trying to help you out, someone is trying to call out this regime, you guys are always on the constant move of belittling them. Like, are you crazy? You're out of your minds, man. I like, what's wrong with you? Man, I'm just sick of this shit. And let me just say, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like, comment, share this video, and don't forget to turn on post notifications, because every day I post new videos and I'd like you to be the very first person to watch them. This is Awaken Africa. I've been your host, Bemo. Peace out.